Last week I made a video about how thirsty some historians are over Joseph Smith. Because it mentioned polygamy, it caught the attention of a group of people who have been variously known polygamy deniers, polygamy skeptics, depending on who they are. Some are members of the Snufferites or the Doctrine of Christ, which is led by Justin Griffin. One of their major claims is because Joseph Smith never had children with his plural wives, that it's unlikely that he had any plural wives or was married to them, or that he had sex with them. Here's the thing they never bring up: birth control. Although many people think of birth control as something that starts in the 20th century, it's not. Birth control has existed since ancient Egypt, if not before. It almost certainly wasn't as effective as it is today, but it certainly existed. And here's the thing: it managed to affect the birth rate, which means that it was effective, at least in some part. After the American Revolution, many women decided to make their family smaller. The contraceptives that they used were effective enough that from 1800 to 1930, the birth rate falls dramatically, from about 7 children per woman in 1800 to 2 or 3 children in 1930. Susan Klepp has argued this convincingly in her book, Revolutionary Conceptions. People are always skeptical of the argument that birth control could have prevented Joseph Smith from having children with his plural wives. And it's possible that whatever relationship they had was not considered a marriage in the same way as his marriage to Emma. But before anyone turns to children as an answer, they have to deal with Susan Klepp's evidence. It's not my evidence, it's hers. And so anyone who is going to argue that we ought to look at the lack of children from Joseph Smith's marriages as evidence needs to deal with her argument and convince me and other historians that she's wrong and the birth rate didn't really fall, or that something other than an increased use of contraceptives caused it. Women had access to herbal teas, which are still advised against during pregnancy because of the effects that herbs can have on a developing fetus. Women had access to pills. There are mechanical methods that prevent conception. There are lots of different ways to prevent a baby, and many of those, although not all, were available in the 19th century. In fact, we have evidence that Heber C. Kimball in the 1850s talked about birth control and in his speeches. In one Journal of Discourses entry, he says that before he joined the church, the people around him frequently used contraception and would even destroy unborn life. He called it as common as it was for wheat to grow. And the reason they did this is they didn't believe that life began at conception. For them, it began at quickening, which is around 20 weeks. He had changed his belief about when life began by the 1850s when he's giving this speech, but he knew women who did it, and other evidence suggests Latter-day Saints did too.